Because all of our narratives we hold are based on the winner writing the history books, right? We decided who the good guy was because the good guy won the war. A bad guy's never won a war. Well, that's because they're both bad and they're both good. And whoever wins just paints the pictures like they were the good guy and the other person was the bad guy because their narrative reigns supreme. So really good guys always win war. So then you say, well, who's right and who's wrong? If he would have killed me, he would have been right. But he didn't. But this is the reality of the world. The reality of the world is the capability for violence. And this is what makes you right. The reason the American empire gets to be right globally around the world, the reason they get to decide what happens on certain issues, the reason they get to choose political leaders for other countries and start wars and end them in a whim is because they can destroy everything. Because they have the capability for violence, that makes them right. So nothing else matters.
But if he killed you, but then went to prison, got the death sentence, wouldn't you kind of be painted as right?
Well, he wouldn't get the death sentence.
Right and weak?
He wouldn't get the death sentence in the UK. And I don't think I would be painted as right. Perhaps the world we live in, we often say we see the world as we see ourselves, right? So what you just said is very telling. You're saying that if I was murdered, I would be seen as right. Because what you're thinking is that if someone murdered me, people would have sympathy for me and I'd be seen as correct and right, potentially. Whereas I see things the other way.
Okay.
I see the world the way I see myself. And if I got murdered, I'd be seen as wrong. He would tell everybody there was a disagreement over X amount of money. He had to go and now he's gone. And everyone would agree with him. Well, he should have paid you then or whatever. So it's your view is based on your position and yourself and your mind. In my world experience, I think that if you lose, nobody really has sympathy for you and nobody thinks you're right. I think if you lose, you just lost. And the person who wins gets to paint the narrative ultimately and completely. That's how I think the world works. He would have been absolutely right if I bled to death. Then he would be right.